Imagine if there was only one person who had ever risked his life to fight for our freedom. Just one. Imagine that as a result of that one person being willing to die, every citizen of America enjoyed liberty and opportunity. Man, that one person would be immortalized, wouldn't he? I mean, every town in America would build a monument in memory of that one person who bravely laid down his life for the rest of us. There would be a holiday named after him. There would be parades celebrating him every year. Schools, hospitals, and government buildings would be named after that one man who courageously sacrificed his life so that the rest of us could be free. As you visited the grave of that one person, no doubt you'd be filled with emotion. You'd stand there and weep as you thought about how this one person gave his life for me. He was willing to sacrifice his entire future so that I could live in freedom. What a moving thought that would be. So, how much more gratitude should every American feel and show when that one man's life is multiplied by over 40 million? In the history of our nation, well over 40 million people have served in the American military to protect our freedoms and to preserve our nation's position of strength throughout the world. A number of years ago, the Traveling Vietnam Memorial came to Danbury, Connecticut, where I live and pastor, and my wife and I went to visit it. Reading name after name of men I didn't know who fought and died in my place was one of the most humbling experiences of my life. Well over 1 million Americans fought in Vietnam, and more than 58,000 soldiers lost their lives. Do you ever consider the concept of people being willing to die so that people they will never meet can live in freedom? That requires a courage, a conviction, and a love that most of us can't even comprehend. And anybody who has the guts to go out on the battlefield in my place deserves my gratitude. I don't care what their motive is. It's impossible to repay someone for the loss of their life. It's impossible to repay someone who has lost a limb, or who lives in pain, or in poverty, or in mental torment every single day as a result of serving their country. But just because it's impossible to truly pay them back doesn't mean we shouldn't make the effort. We ought to try. The absolute most basic way to repay a veteran is to vote. I hope you used your freedom to cast your vote this last week. Well, it wasn't a big election. You know what? A soldier doesn't have the right to decide which battles are big battles and which ones aren't. He just fights when he's told. Now, if you respect that, you won't distinguish between big elections and not so big elections. You'll just vote out of a sense of respect and duty. When you consider what our freedom to vote costs the American soldier, every election is a big election. Well, my vote is just one vote. It's not going to make a difference. Does every soldier's life count? You bet it does. Then so does every vote that soldier's life purchased. Another way to thank American veterans for their service is to visit the parks and monuments that have been erected in their memory. Nearly every town has one, and if your town doesn't, a town near you surely does. Have you ever stopped and read what those monuments say? Well, I don't know any of those names. Exactly, and they didn't know yours. But they fought for you. They fought for countless ungrateful, uncaring, irresponsible people. So how about you be one of the grateful, caring, responsible people who takes a while to remember, to thank God, to be grateful. So many people don't even know that today is Veterans Day. And so many people who do know it don't even give it a second thought. Why? Because it's not about them. There's no presents, no decorations, no parties, no days off work. But hold on, it is about them. Because they wouldn't be enjoying the freedom from communism, freedom from terrorism, freedom from Sharia law that we all enjoy. They wouldn't be enjoying it without the dedication, the suffering, and the sacrifice of the American soldier. Look around today for someone wearing a hat or a jacket or a shirt that identifies them as a veteran. Walk up and thank them for their service. If you see them at a restaurant, pay for their meal. Buy them a coffee. They won't think it's strange. If they didn't want you to know they served, they wouldn't wear the hat. Pray for our men and women currently serving in the United States military, and pray for our veterans. Pray for the families of people who have lost loved ones in combat. Make a donation to an organization that provides for veterans. You see the commercials. This would be a great time to have a small part in helping veterans who've been injured or families who've suffered the loss of a spouse, a child, or a parent. Partner with our veterans by faithfully praying for our nation and by standing in your daily life for the principles they fought for. Don't allow people to trash America in your presence. Show respect for the flag and know America's history and our Constitution. And the greatest way you can repay a veteran for their service is to show them how they can know that they have eternal life through the sacrifice that Jesus made for their sins. Christian, show your gratitude today to someone who has sacrificed to purchase and protect your liberty. Stay the course.